Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to a guitar lesson. In this video, we're going to be learning how to play Down in a Hole by Alice in Chains. This is a song off their second album, Dirt, and this track has some phenomenal guitar work in it by Jerry Cantrell. And if you really take the time to learn all the little nuances and details, you can learn a lot from this song. And like the song has 6 guitars in it going on, which is just insane. Of course, live, they only have one guitar player, Jerry Cantrell himself. But in the actual studio recording, there's 6 guitars going on, and if you didn't isolate the guitar tracks and actually listen to them, there would be no way you would realize that by just listening to the regular studio recording that everyone knows. So there's a lot of overdubs and stuff going on, and like I said, there's 6 guitars going on, not at the same time, but in throughout the whole track. So I'm gonna teach each and every single part. So we got a lot to cover. The acoustics, the distortion guitars, the clean electrics, the lead guitars or harmony, all that stuff. So one thing to keep in mind before we get started is that the original recording on the studio album is tuned down a half step, so it's an E flat tuning. However, I'm in standard tuning, so I'll teach you the right notes and everything, but just keep in mind we won't sound exactly like the studio recording, but we won't be far from it. With that being said, it won't make that much of a difference, but anyways, let's get started because we got a lot of stuff to cover. So first of all, we have this intro, and there's lots of stuff going on in the intro already. Before Lane's vocals kick in, we have like 4 guitars going on. So the first 10 seconds of the song. So we get started with 2 guitars at first. We have an clean electric guitar, and then we have an acoustic guitar, and they're both playing the exact same thing. So what they're playing is the that part you hear, that part. So it sounds something like this. Alright, you get the idea. So that's the intro as well as the verse, and it also covers the bridge later on in the song. So that's made up of 3 basic chords: A minor, G major, and D major. So in terms of those 3 chords, we would be in the key of G major technically. So with that being said, we have the progression starts off with the open B string, and then you hammer onto the first fret. Then play the second fret on the G string to the D string, and then the open A string. So you're just walking all the way down. B string, G string, D string, A string. Then you go back to the B string, back to the G, back down to the D. So you're just going, you start from the top and you just walk down, go back to the top and walk down again. So you just do that twice. And once you do that, then you switch to the next chord. So we have this so far. Hit it again. Alright, then we have. So this is a lot quicker because the A minor lasts 2 bars, the G major and D major both last 1 bar only. So we have 3rd fret on the high E string, the 3rd fret on the B string, then the open G string. Then while the open G string is ringing out, you grab the 2nd fret on the high E string. Alright, so then after you grab the 2nd fret on the high E string, 3rd fret on the B, 2nd fret on the G, finish it off with the open D. So this is a more simpler version. I know live and the studio recording, he does a little bit more finger picking and stuff, but since we only have 1 guitar player right now, let's just assume you're 1 guitar player. This is the easier version you can play live, especially if you have an electric guitar. So with that being said, that's the intro, the verse, and the bridge. Over that, there's an acoustic solo, which is kind of hard to hear, because you're probably focused on Lane's falsetto or whatever. But if you pay close attention, as it gets higher up in pitch, you can actually hear it. So let me play the solo for you quickly. This is on the acoustic guitar. So it's pretty simple. You probably hear that last part when he's climbing up the scale. At the start, it's kind of hard to hear. So he starts off by going 5 to 7 on the A. Then he goes 4. He goes 4 5 4 2, 4 5 4 2 on the D. Then he goes 4 2 on the D again, and this time land on the 3rd fret on the A string. So you hold that for a little bit until the next phrase. So the next phrase is basically just climbing up the scale. So open A string, then the 3rd fret on the A string. Now we're gonna go 2 4 5 7 on the D. Then go 4 5 7 on the G. Then 5 on the B. Then play 5 again, but this time do a hammer pull between 5 and 6. So then resolve it at the 7th fret of the G string. So then you repeat that whole pattern again, where you're climbing up the scale. And the second time he's doing it in the recording, that's when the harmonized guitar part comes in. The so that part. So one of the guitars is playing on the G string, one of them is on the B string. So they're playing the exact same thing, but they're harmonizing in thirds. So keep that in mind. That's what Alice in Chains usually does. They're harmonizing in thirds. So first we have the G string harmony. So B string is the same thing. It's just on the B string. So bend and release on the 7th fret of the G string, full step. Hammer pull between 5 and 7 on the G. Then between 4 and 5. Then you're gonna go 0, 2, 4, 2. Play the same thing on the B string as though, and then if you play them together, if you have like a looper pedal or whatever, you can try it out. They should harmonize in thirds. So you can also tell they're harmonizing in thirds by just checking out the notes that they're using. Just recognize the notes and just, you can tell that he's harmonizing in thirds. So already there's a lot going on. So you know there's two guitars playing the that part. There's a clean electric acoustic, then there's an acoustic solo going over it as 3 guitars, and then we have the 2 harmony guitars. So already we have 5 guitars within the first 10 seconds of the song. So kind of hard to do. With that being said, we have the verse, which is next, but we already learned the verse because that's just this part right here. So that's the verse. The next thing we have to learn is the pre-chorus. The pre-chorus and chorus are pretty similar, but they're just like a difference of 1 chord, and notes are slightly different, but it's very, very similar. So we get started off with the pre-chorus, which starts off when the distortion guitar kicks in, and that's when Lane Staley says, "Down in a hole, and I know that I can't not be saved." So, or I don't know if I can be saved. Yeah, that's the right lyrics. So that's when the pre-chorus starts, and it sounds like this. It's very simple. It's not really like consistent rhythm. He plays it kind of loosely, especially live. On the recording, it's a bit more tight, but live, when he strums the chords, there's a lot of open strings ringing out, and he's randomly picking the notes. So I'll tell you what he's playing on the recording, but live, just keep in mind you don't have to be so perfect, because he's not going for perfect either. Just play the melody at the start. That's the important thing. So that's the melody right here. So on the D string, you play 9, 10, 7. Sorry, 9, 10, 9, 7. Sorry about that. But while you're playing that, we have the open A string ringing out. So every note that you hit is also with the A string. So So that's how he makes it a little bit more chaotic by playing the open A string, and that's how, you know, with distortion that makes it really it fills up the sound. So when you play that, hold the 7th fret for a little bit, and then you're gonna go to a G major chord. Just strum it a couple times, and then go to a D major. So like I said, he's just playing random notes in between when he's picking it. So you could just go just something like that. So alright, so next we have the chorus, which is very similar to this. Once again, he's playing very loosely live. He just, you know, he's just sort of going for it, trying to fill up the space with the chords, and then playing the melody on top. So as long as the melody comes out, and then you fill up the space, you know, you're good to go. You don't have to be that exact with the chords. However, the chords do change in the chorus, so keep that in mind. Don't just play wrong chords. Instead of the melody being on the D string now for the chorus, we have it on the G string. So same exact notes, just on the G string. So we have this for the chorus. So once again, not too, you know, not very tight, locked in, whatever you want to call it. A very loose melody, just very loose besides the melody. So we have same exact melody that we played on the D string, we're just on the G string now. So we just move everything up a string and make sure the D string is ringing out the entire time, just like the A string was before. So after you play the melody, then you're gonna go to this chord. This is a new chord right here. This is called a C add 9. So we have the two basic notes of the C major chord. We have the C, which is on the 3rd fret of the A string. And then we have the E note, which is a major 3rd. That's on the G string, 2nd fret. And then we have this note right here. That's the note that makes the C add 9. So this is the 3rd fret on the B string. That note is D. So D is the C major scale. It's the 2nd note. So, you know, 2nd is the same thing as the 9th. So that's why it's a C add 9. So after you play the C add 9, you go to a standard G major chord. So it's the C add 9 to G major. Alright, so we have this. Now there's one last thing for the chorus. The first time he plays the melody like this. Same thing as we played before. The second time he goes back to the melody, he does this. So he goes 9, 10, 9. Then he hammers on from 7 to 9, back to 7. So just go back and forth between those two. So that's the chorus right there. Then we have the sort of like a transition between the chorus and the next section of the song. So that sounds like this. This is where he goes, I want to fly away. So alright, so right there, mostly all just power chords. Once again, like I said, there's no consistent rhythm. Well, there's a little bit of a consistent rhythm, but once again, it's distorted guitar, and he's trying to fill up the space. The first 3 chords, though, however, are very distinct chords that you have to play correctly. We have a D power chord, which is the 2nd fret on the G and the 3rd fret on the B. Then we go to a E power chord, open E string, 2nd fret on the A and the D. Then we go to an F power chord, 1st fret on the E string, 3rd fret on the A and the D. So after you play those three chords, that's when he just trying to fill up the space, and the rhythm is a little bit more loose. So after the F power chord, you're gonna go to a C power chord, strum it a couple of times, then take it up a string and go to a G power chord. So you're gonna go down back to the F power chord, then finish it off on the A. So we have C, G, F, resolve it at the A power chord. Okay, so in the recording, this key's ringing out. While that's ringing out, the other distorted guitar continues into what is the pre-chorus. So there's actually no verse 2 of the song, which is a very interesting arrangement choice that they made. There's actually only one verse in the entire song, but they go straight from the chorus back to the pre-chorus, which is like I said, very interesting. But pre-chorus is the same as it was before. So, like I said, loose rhythms, play the melody, same thing. After the pre-chorus, which is the same thing, it goes to the chorus, which is again the same thing. After the chorus, they go to the bridge section. The bridge section, it's kind of like a second verse, but it's really the bridge. When they do play that, he's just going back to this. Sorry. That's what's going on underneath that. The same thing, and he has a little bit more flanger effect on it, so it might sound slightly different. But he's playing the exact same thing, just using a bit more flanger and reverb. And Jerry Cantrell loves his effects. So, yeah, and then bridge is of course the famous part of the song. You have that vocal interplay going on between Lane and Jerry. So after that, then we go into the final chorus. Now during the final chorus, is the exact same in terms of the rhythm part. However, there's a solo that goes over it, and it continues to the end of the song. So live, Jerry Cantrell normally doesn't play it, or he does like a combination of rhythm and lead. But like I said, he has to fill up space, so mostly he's playing rhythm. But on the recording, there's a lead guitar overdub going on for the for the rest of the song, from the chorus to the end, because this is a double chorus, and then it goes on to the end of the song. So the solo sounds like this. I'll play it isolated. Messed up a little bit there at the end, but that's the basic idea. So we have a full step bend on the 7th fret of the G string. So you kind of have to listen to the recording to see where each phrase comes in, because he's not playing them back to back. He's going between rhythm and lead. So something like stuff like that. That's what he's doing usually. So we start off with full step bend on the 7th fret of the G string. So that happens right when the final chorus starts. So that should give you a little bit of a idea, a little bit of a checkpoint. So the second, they're coming right out of the bridge. They go. The second the chorus starts, one guitar is playing the chorus, one guitar is doing that. That's the first phrase. The second phrase, this is the bend on the 9th fret of the G string. Then hit the 10th fret on the high E. Then release the 9th fret on the G string. Do that again. And as you release it the second time, just go 7 9 7 on the G string. So then we have this next phrase, which sounds like this. Probably one of my favorite Jerry Cantrell phrases. Very beautiful, and definitely my favorite part of the entire song. So I think my computer's about to die, but recording it from right here on my stand. So I gotta hurry up. So we start off with that 4 5 4, but you don't pick it, you slide it. So on the D string, you slide it. Then you do a little bend and release on the 4th fret of the D string. So and after you release it, after you release the 4th fret bend, slide down to the 2nd fret on the D string, then play the open D. So after you play the open D, play the 2nd fret and quickly slide up to the 4th fret. So we have this so far. Sorry. Alright, so we have that. Then there's a little bit of a break. The chorus continues flowing. And then we have this phrase right here. This is when you hear you can really hear the solo now coming out of the mix, because this is the high part. So that part right here is a 14th fret on the G string to a full step bend on the 16th fret of the B string. As you release it, don't release it all the way. When it's like almost back to its original position, when it's almost back, grab the 15th fret. So you don't release it all the way, just more than halfway after you release it, just grab the 15th fret. 15, 13 on the B. 14, 13, 12, 10 on the G. Then we're going to do a series of bend and releases. So after you get down to the 10, we're going to do, you're going to bend the 12th fret on the G string and hit the 13th fret on the B string. And then you release the 12th fret on the G string. So bend, B string, release. Then you do the same thing again, but at the start you just bend the 12th fret twice. So it's the same thing. The first time I just bent it twice. So you do both of those combined like 4 or 5 times. He does it quite a few times. After you do that few times, he does this. So that's at the end of the chorus. I think almost it's towards the end when it starts to get quieter and it's the song changes from the chorus to more of the outro section. So that's full step bend on the 13th fret of the B string. I release it. 12, 10 on the G. Then we have this next quick phrase. So this is actually the end of the chorus, sorry. That was right before the end. This is actually the end when they're transitioning. This is when they're actually transitioning to the outro. You hear this? You can really hear that 8th fret coming out in the mix. So that when they're transitioning and they're fading, they're going to the chorus, or the outro, you hear that 8th fret bend up and it's slowly released and as it fades out of the mix. So that's 5 7 5 7 on the D and the G. Then you hit the 5th fret on the B string 3 times. And then you bend that 8th fret on the B string, and it slowly releases it as you transition from the chorus to the outro. So after that, after you release that, then we have this thing going on. So that's the last lick in the song. That's the end of the song. So it's very bluesy, based off, A minor pentatonic scale. It's pretty obvious. So after you do the bend, the release, and we have this a very quick pull off that you can hear in the song. 7 to 5 on the D string. So after that, so it's very bluesy, that part right there. We have 5 to 7. You got hammer on from 5 to 7 on the D. Then play 5/5 on the G, and you slightly bend it, like it's very slight of a bend. And then hammer on from 5 to 7 again. Then go back to the 5 on the G, and then do a 2 bends at the 7th fret of the G string. So all together. Then we have, that's 5 on the G string, quickly to 7 on the D, and then we do a double stop right here. 5 on the B and the G. So and then we have some octave stuff going on. So we have, these are both octaves. That's the note G. So that's the 5th fret on the D string, followed by its octave, which is the 8th fret on the B string. And just like before, we bend it up. So slowly release it as the song's about to end, and then right when the song ends, we have an A major chord. In the recording, it's half a step down, so it would be A flat major in our case, but since he's tuned down a half step, he's just playing a regular A major chord. So last phrase once again. So that's it for the song. Like I said, there's a lot to learn from the song if you really pay attention and isolate the guitar tracks, because there's 6, 7 guitars going on throughout the entire thing. Obviously, he doesn't play all of them live, because that's literally impossible. But there's a lot you can take away in terms of harmony, lead playing, and the chords he's using, and there's like rhythm playing in general by learning all of the guitar parts. And he sings over this too, so it's just crazy. But just want to say thanks for watching, and if you want to recommend any songs down below, let me know, please. Whether it's Alice in Chains or it's not Alice in Chains, doesn't matter. Recommend away. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.